on JavaScript. Okay, it should be clear by now, for the better or for worse, JavaScript is not slowing down. I think it technically is actually slowing down, if I'm not mistaken. It's on a concavity down video right now. I know this may be a bit painful for some of you to hear, but TypeScript has been doing this for so long, and now it's kind of doing this move, which means that acceleration is down. It's literally slowing down. And a lot of that's because these other languages, such as Go's been on the rise, Rust has been on the rise, Zig's been on the rise. Every single language has been on the rise. Therefore, TypeScript and its just redonkulous ecosystem has been on the down. We're having some concave down, people. Between server components, server actions, signals, compilers, and more, we're seeing new innovations pop up faster than most of us can handle. I do think this is just like generally a problem of programmers, and I don't think this is a JavaScript problem. I think that JavaScript just exacerbates the problem more than anything else, which is we all have NIH, which if you don't know what NIH stands for, it means not invented here syndrome. We really like creating our own version. When something doesn't work, we're just like, it's not exactly what I want, therefore we need yet another. And this is just what happens. 16 standards of everything, yeah. And this is not like some JavaScript thing. I hate NIH with a burning passion. The thing is that I don't hate NIH. I think that NIH can be very, very useful, but it also can be very, very annoying. I think particularly for JavaScript, it's kind of interesting. The trick to avoiding the dreaded JavaScript fatigue is remembering that you can pick your lane. Sure, you can live life on the cutting edge with the early adopters, but you can also keep a slower pace and focus on stable, mature technologies, and eventually get to the new hotness once a couple years cool down. Actually, before we go on, I know we're already like so distracted. We're barely into this, but I just wanted to show you this because I think this is such a great take by coding. I saw it earlier. There we go. People are so stuck in the hyper mindset. Let's see, the mindset of hyper specialization. They can't comprehend that the mere idea of somebody who they saw programming in C suddenly programming in TypeScript. Programming is programming. It's a good tweet. Understanding how something works is like a W. It's like a big time W. Learn how the thing works, and then programming in any language is like not that bad. I mean, that's why. I mean, think about it. I was not very good at Zig. And I've dramatically gotten better at Zig in an extremely short period of time. Why? Because it's like I understand what's happening. I can write the V tables with no problem because I already know the base, the underlying thing. It makes life a lot easier when you understand the underlying thing. And now, obviously, I don't know all the things, but you know, that's what learning's for. Speaking of taking it slow, you might be wondering why these 2023 survey results are being released 6 months into 2024. I felt like I said that. The truth is, between launching the new state of the HTML survey, innovating new question formats, collecting more free-form data than ever, and rewriting a lot of your data visualization code bases, we ended up with a workload that was probably a bit too ambitious, to say the least. Hopefully, the result of all this extra effort will be worth it, though, and we do plan on a much faster turnarounds going forward. Let's go. Satya, dude, obviously... He asked if I wanted to contribute to any of this. I said no, just because I didn't want to. You know, JavaScript's not my main bag. I don't love JavaScript, and I didn't want to lead anybody astray in a JavaScript focused thing. But hey, I really do appreciate the hard work here. This is some good work, and it's obviously takes an enormous amount of effort. You know, an enormous amount of effort. Support the survey. Yeah, I'm gonna support that. I will buy this right after this. Yeah, absolutely. Let's just go like this. Boop. All right. Between the bad video quality, the bulky cassettes, and having to rewind, there's not much to miss about the VHS era. But one thing we do miss are the amazing 90s visuals that we adorn blank VHS. Oh, yes. Those were so good. But now, thanks to talented Christopher Kirk Nielsen, you can enjoy all the retro radness while also celebrating your love for JavaScript at the same time. I'm going to literally wear this around, and I'm going to love it. All right, so let's look at some demographics. This year, there's 23,500 respondents. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see, 23,500 respondents took part in the survey. In order to help highlight different voices and surface deeper insights, we made special effort to provide new ways to break down our data, country or region. While 16% of respondents came from the U.S., we had a strong representation of the JavaScript community in Germany, France, and the U.K. That's pretty wild. This also is actually not that different from my numbers. If I break down my Twitch or YouTube numbers, dude, that effing cricket needs to shut up. I tried to do the cricket dirty and I couldn't. Anyways, while 60% came from the U.S., we had a strong representation. Okay, look at this. All respondents. 16% United States, 7% France. Here, let me turn off dark readers. I bet they already have it. Yeah, there we go. Germany, United Kingdom, Poland, Canada. These actually are pretty close to the same numbers that I get for viewing on Twitch, except for I don't see Brazil. Where's Brazil? Brazil coming in only at 2%. Language filters, 83% English. That's not too surprising. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty reasonable. The proportion of the survey filled out by respondents. Oh, the proportion of the survey filled out. Oh, nice. They actually got the majority filled out the whole thing, and you add these two, 80 to 90% together. Nice. Okay, good job. Turned off the cricket sound. We got it. Yeah. How old are you in years? Respondents, on average, are 31.7 years old. Slightly lower than the state of HTML. That's actually pretty old. Okay. Years of experience. This is also pretty similar to what is watching as well on Twitch. So this is very interesting. This JavaScript survey has a lot of representation, the same on Twitch as it does here. Huh. Company size, respondents tend to work for mostly mid-sized organizations of 75 employees. That makes sense, I think. Okay, nice. I mean, we have the biggest, obviously the biggest ones are in the larger companies, but still, that makes sense. JS survey equals, because you are the best JS streamer. I am the best JS streamer. Yearly income. This kind of doesn't make much sense, I don't think. Just because if you have such a wide range of where people live, does this make any sense? No. Higher education degree. Higher education degree is not, let's say, did not translate in meaningful differences in yearly income. No. Yes. Yeah, you are all juniors. Yeah, all right. We got gender, man, woman, NB or GNC not listed. All right, this ratio right here is already way different than YouTube. YouTube, I got like 1%. Race, ethnicity, white, Hispanic, East Asian. What's the difference between when they say East Asian versus South Asian? Are they like is South Asian supposed to be like Southwest? Or Southeast Asian, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and East Asian is Chinese, Japanese? Is that what they're saying? South Asian is considered India? Is that true? Is South Asia considered India? Okay. Sorry, forgive my ignorance. All right. So there's East Asia. There's South Asia's India. I'm surprised that there's only that many respondents for. I mean that might just be. I think what you might be seeing is just Twitter, right? Is this a reflection of just Twitter in general? Yeah, usually whenever I've seen someone say Asia, they usually say India. Yeah, I've never heard the term South Asia for India. Maybe I'm too dumb. Too dumb. There you go. I don't know what Indian then means. Slavs. All right. Then we got disability, cognitive impairment. Anxiety, dyslexia, ADHD. I mean, I think most people on Twitter, these two numbers would be swapped. Everybody has cognitive dissonance or whatever they call it. Cognitive neuro atypical. What's the term? Dang, why can't I remember the term? What's the term? Neurodivergence, right? Neurodivergent. Yeah, everybody's neurodivergent on Twitter. So this is shocking that the amount of people that actually put like these numbers. This is way different than what I see on the Twitters. Like, this is way different. Let's see. The source of JavaScript is State of JavaScript, Twitter, Google, Theo, YouTube, Daily Dev, Workplace, JavaScript Weekly, Discord, Fireship. Nice. Madhu Dev. Let's go, Madhu Dev. Oh, gosh. You know what? I am so happy I am not on that list. Let's go. People ain't discovering JavaScript from me. Theo's not, people ain't discovering JavaScript for me. Let's go. You're in other answers. Don't believe you. All right. Recommended sources. JavaScript, free, from first steps to professional, free, getting a software engineering job, version 2. Let's go. All right. That's a win in my book. All right. Syntax features. Let's look at this one. All right. Null coalescing. Hold on. JavaScript may move fast, but it seems like JavaScript developers move even faster, as many relatively new features are already shown in high adoption levels. This one's not surprising. Dynamic imports I'm very skeptical about that. Private fields are interesting. They're kind of a pain in the butt. They're really ugly looking. Putting like a hashtag, putting an octothorpe in front of your property, it's just weird. You know what I mean? No, private fields are private fields in this case. Private fields are really private. Octo, what? Yeah. It's like octothorpe mentioned. Yeah. What now? Okay, for those that don't know here. I see. I forget that I intentionally don't teach you guys JavaScript. So you guys are like, what the hell are you even talking about? JS.js. Let's go. Class foo. And if you go like this, bar equals 0. Like that is a private property. And on the outside, like you can't see these properties. You can't expose those privates. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. True. All right. Logical assignment. I don't know what that means. I feel stupid not knowing what this means. Oh. And that, okay. Yeah, I feel, okay, for those that didn't see it, it's, here. They're saying, like, you can go like this. You can go like, const foo equals, true, var bar equals, false, and then you can go like, bar right? Oh, sorry, var. Let. There you go. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, dude. Sorry, I'm zigging. Okay, boys. Zig is var for immutable, standing for variable, which is a pretty reasonable term. And const means you can't change it, like actually const. Okay, so I'm in the middle of this whole brain like fight. Okay, beforehand we'd have to go like this: bar equals bar or foo, right? Yeah, you do that too when you switch. Yeah, it's totally normal. Are you really buying anything here? I don't know. I mean, cool. Hash bang grammar. Honestly, I don't know what that means. Hash bang grammar. JavaScript. What that? I don't know what that means. Oh, is that just making it? It's hash bang grammar. Oh, shebang. Oh, okay. Yeah, shebang. Sorry, I didn't know what a hash bang was, or hash. I know what a shebang is. Okay, we're just shebanging. You're just shebanging then. Okay, that's fine. Error.cause. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole problem with errors in general when it comes to JavaScript, so it's not too surprising of this. But I'm also surprised that error.cause has taken this long. I mean, error.cause was in what? Java in 2011, 2010? Earlier, maybe? String features, replace all. Yeah, I use that. Match all. Interesting. Regex, match indices. Stop using regex. Stop using that. Constant is just weird. Yeah, it's not constant. Me, every bloody time. I know. Hey. All right, arrays. Find last. 2 sorted. 2 reversed. 2 spliced. 2 spliced. I didn't know that there's a 2 spliced. Width. I honestly don't even know what width does. Oh. It just copies and creates a new array while inserting an element. Width must be like an ellipse on it? Okay. Generally pretty neat. But I can one line password validation with the regex. Okay, yeah. Good luck. So just so much copying. You know, I get this weird thing where I feel bad emotionally making copies of things. Do you guys have that problem like I do? Like every time I make a copy, I get like upset. Anyways, async feature, top level await. This seems so useful, by the way. Promise.any. Is any just what I think it is? It's just whatever one. This doesn't give me enough. Is promise.any, promise.any. What this? Let's see. It takes in an iterable of promises and returns a single output. Let's see. Does a promise when any of the inputs are fulfilled? Let's see. It rejects when all the other. Let's see. When the inputs promises reject, including an empty iterable passed in. Oh, that's weird. It rejects on an empty iterable. So what's the difference between this and race? What's the difference between this versus promise.race? Oh, I don't have dark readers on. So let's see. Unlike promise, which returns the first settled, this method returns the first resolved value. Wait, what's the difference between settled and resolved? Wait, what? Being settled is not a state. It's a linguistic convenience. What the i.e., there is no difference. Wait, what? So we have promise.any and promise.rel for linguistic convenience? There is no difference? All settled is good. I like settled. All settled is great. That's JS for you. Race was a perfectly good one, by the way. Race was actually great. Ooh, let's go DAX. No technology had a bigger impact on the quality of what I've shipped in years. I think they are carrying the torch on pushing what can be done on the web. Replicache. Let's go, DAX. All right. Browser APIs. Which of these browser APIs have you used? By the way, WebSocket is a cursed and horrible API. They've somehow created the easiest interface into the world's worst interface with WebSocket. Like, how did they do that? Browser APIs. Progressive web app is that's a browser API. Geolocation, WebGL animations. These seem pretty cool. I've never really played with a lot of this stuff. WebRTC, that sounds fun too. We're kind of making our own WebRTC, so F that. You know? Honestly, WebGL is good. I'm sure it is. I'm sure GL in general is probably pretty nice in JavaScript because you can just pass things easily, right? You can just do things. So, I like it. Static typing is for the inexperienced. Really? What are your main pain points with the JavaScript language? Static typing. ESM versus CJS. Dude, that problem is so effing cursed all the time. This is so cursed. Dates. I love that. Just dates. Just the whole object. This whole object sucks. And it does, by the way. The dates suck. Also, really hard to get right. TypeScript support. Async programming, really. Choice overload, yeah, that makes more sense. Error handling, yep, that makes sense. I think error handling is cursed. Performance, yep, that's cursed. Browser support, interesting. I wonder what they're using that requires browser support stuff. Huh. What else? Security. I mean, security is not really a JavaScript problem. There's nothing that I know of that is JavaScript specific when it comes to security. Am I wrong on this? Oh, Safari. Safari sucks. NPM, but I mean, cargo is the same thing, right? Cargo. You have the same problem. If NPM is at pip, yeah, any of these places that have some sort of like, anyways, they all seem the same. They all seem the same to me. All right, let's see. Browser pain points, browser support, Safari, Safari is its own island onto it. I do like that. This is so good. Oh, I'm loving it. Dates again. I know dates are there. Lack of documentation, performance, excessive complexity, DOM API, Chrome. Chrome's just a problem as well. I thought Chrome wasn't that much of a problem. Firefox issues. You know, it's not easy. Web programming is not easy, okay? Just so you know, even the web programming survey didn't quite get web programming correctly here, okay? Let's see. Dog, I don't think you meant to leak whatever this is. I wish there's, let's see, can I select all within this text box? Because when I do control, oh, nice, control A worked that time. Nice. I just see DAX. Look at that DAX. Son, look at that DAX. Oh, look, it's all the data. Look at all that data. Because why use something like HTMX? Anyways, I think HTMX would be a little bit nicer here. Real talk. Let's see. Reading list. Okay, these percentages must be effed up because 44% is not correct. We're now getting errors have happened. We have errors going on here. These are errors. All right, recommended. Lydia, what do you have to say? She had this on front end master, right? Yeah. Oh, and Will sentences the hard parts too. Yeah. I heard these are really, really good. I've heard both of these are really, really good. So classic 703%. Yeah. Libraries. All right, let's look at the libraries. Oh man, sentiment. Oh man, really? Used it and want to use it again. Really? 41% of people want to use Webpack again? That can't be real. That can't be real, right? Like, right? Like, we all agree that that's not real. Like, together as a team. This makes me now think that I now completely doubt every single result and answer on the survey. I now think is a troll. Really, 64.7071% said they used React and they'd use it again. I think this shows, you know what? Having Theo as your third source of information for JavaScript and having this high response says that we might have a bit of a bias problem. Jest is really annoying. Vite seems to have Vite's not surprising that they had a very positive experience with Vite. Just because it is pretty dang convenient. It is pretty dang convenient. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that there's this high of a response. I see nothing but negative responses about Next.js unless you are like fully in the Vercel camp. I see nothing but negative responses with it. TSC CLI. Who uses TypeScript CLI? You? I can tell right away that you guys are. I know I do. I actually do. Okay, fair. Okay, fair. All of you. F all of you. It just seems like a weird one. Like, what are you going to use besides for TypeScript CLI? You know, like, what are you going to do? If I do not. Well, yeah, you don't. Storybook, I don't even know what Storybook is. ES Build, yeah, that was convenient. It's kind of nice. Cypress, really. Vue.js. There's a whole bunch of hidden ones. We'll just look at a few of them. Angular, wow. Angular has a really negative. Oh, that's funny. Actually, this is actually pretty wild how negative the sentiment is for Angular. Look at how negative the sentiment is. Mocha, very negative. Mocha, why even have Mocha on here? That's wild. Rollup. Okay, people like Rollup. PNPM. Slightly negative sentiment. Electron. Shockingly not negative sentiment on this one. React Native. Negative. Selenium, dude. No, ain't nobody liking Selenium. This may surprise you, but I do use ES Build. Okay, that's weird. Leave Electron alone. Look at that. Look at that thing go. Wow. Okay, anyways. I'm just going to... Oh, man. Hold on. We got to take... Gatsby? Dude, Gatsby ain't it. Gatsby's on the way down. Right. What about TurboPack? Okay, TurboPack just doesn't have a very large share. Wow, people hate Preact. People hate in Preact. All right, I'm just moving on. We're just moving on. All right, changes over time. Okay. I get it. Okay, I know. At first, this graph was very, very, very confusing. That graph is graphic. Okay, hold on, everybody. This side represents have used it and have a generally negative opinion about it. So, oh, wait, nope, never mind. I just got more confused. So, positive opinions and have used in 2016, 2017, 2020, and then started just going nothing but negative over time. React has been going negative over time. Mocha, negative over time. Do we have anything that's positive over time? Yeah. Have not used it. Okay, what is this? ES Build? Nobody uses ES Build. How the hell do I... Vite? Okay, Vite is the one of the few positive trajectory ones. Okay. I think we've collectively become more fed up. I would say that's a very interesting takeaway from this. Like everything, so much of this SWC, it's so like not, it's just not used. Like everything, like so much of this has like a negative cycle to it. It's wild. Wow. Poor Angular. Okay, Angular actually doesn't have a negative cycle. It's just negative. Poor fella never even made it out of the gates. It's actually very interesting scribble. It is actually lived long enough to become a villain. But this is actually super interesting, I think. I think this just describes how negative, like, I think this, to me, this describes more of the JavaScript ecosystem than anything else, is that I think people generally are more frustrated. So it's like Webpack has been having rising popularity, apparently, and becoming more hated. React, rising popularity and becoming more hated. Angular, rising popularity and always hated. Vue, dude, it's so hard to find these things. Vue's also, kind of staying on the positive side. It took a big hit in 2020, but it looks like 2021, 22, and 23, it's relatively remained the same. Apparently, people forgot what Vue was in 2022. Nobody knows what happened in 2022. Nobody knows what happened, but everybody collectively forgot what Vue.js was. All right. Local First FM. Oh, man, everybody loves Local First. If you're interested in software as heading, this podcast is required listening. I'll renew your optimism about the future of web development. Rich Harris is a pretty smart fella. I don't know if you know that. Not surprising. All right. Library tier list. Really? You think you're just library tier listing this? Okay, I guess this is based on respondents. Let's see. Build, test, package management, test, build, test, Astro. Wow. This is pretty wild, actually, to see Astro right here. Notice that everything is about building and testing and installing. And then Astro. All right, Svelte, TSC library, I guess, rollup, turbo pack, Jest, Nux, React B tier. Oh, feels bad. Feels bad. All right, what's CTEL? Parcel, Cordova? Is Cordova still a thing? I didn't realize Cordova was still a thing. Oh. Okay. It's now capacitor? Okay. Retention versus usage. Oh, no. This is going to be way too confusing of a graph to look at. Okay, here we go. We got this. User count, retention percentage. HTMX, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, HTMX. HTMX out there, killing it. HTMX out there, just destroying it. Better than Quick, better than Alpine, better than Lit, better than Preact, but not as good as Solid or Svelte, but that's okay. Vue.js, Angular. I'm not sure what these two other ones are. User count, retention. Not a lot of people use an HTMX, though. 1,000 people. This must be React. Yep, we're beating React. We're destroying them. No users find Astro. I don't think Astro's on this list. Astro must fall under something else. Metaframe. It must fall under Meta Frameworks. SvelteKit, Astro. There you go, Astro. It's right there. Next.js being this one. Astro's doing a good job. Okay, cool. I don't really care. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't care about retention right now. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes in a year. All right, front-end frameworks are ratios over time. So this must be React. Yeah, this is React. React, not surprising that it's still super dominant. Angular's shockingly going down. Okay, it's not that shocking. Is it shocking? No, it's not. Vue going up. Can somebody help me with this? Front-end frameworks ratios over time. 84%, 52%, 46%. What ratio of what? HTMX, 4%. HTMX appears. Let's go, HTMX. Oh my gosh. Look at that. HTMX beats Stencil and Quick. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Let's go, HTMX. Alpine. Angular's falling. Okay. So React is 1. Vue has actually gone up a level. Okay. Angular dropped. Svelte is still the same. Preact. Solid is going up. Lit. Alpine. HTMX. Let's go HTMX. All right. Interesting. Very interesting graphs, I would say. I was not really expecting that. Front-end frameworks experience. Let's see. Experience and sentiment. React. Didn't we already look at this? I think we already looked at this. Yeah. Sort of, I guess. Oh, this is weird. How is sentiment? How is this different? Used it and want to use it again. Why is this a different number than it was last time? Is it? Am I just crazy? All right, Vue. Angular, very negative. I remember that. Svelte. Preact. Okay, not many people have used it. Not many people have used it. But look at the graphs. Stencil, not looking good for Stencil. Quick, not looking good for Quick. I'm actually a bit, I guess I'm not too surprised about Quick. Because Quick is an exceptionally complicated version of, thing of React. But you already have something that's super simple like Astro that pretty much just works. You have Next.js, which is going to be a competitor. Like, you have too many things competing in that space. And so what does Quick offer that's better? I just don't know if they actually offer anything that is actually going to be better. I'm surprised HTMX is showing up here at all. To tell you the truth. Like, this, to me, is shocking that HTMX is showing up at all. Quick was someone's not invented here? Maybe. Other front-end frameworks? All right, let's see. Other front-end frameworks. So we got Astro. Like, Astro's really positive, I guess. Oh, nice. Okay, Astro, let's go. Dino Fresh. I remember when Fresh came out. Everybody was talking about it for like a day. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Ember was mentioned. Hold on. Ooh, getting owned by Ember. Next.js getting owned by Ember. I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of hurts a little bit. Kind of hurts to lose to Ember. TJ's dog Ember, yeah. What's this graph? On a scale of 0, very happy, to 4, or 0, very unhappy, to 4, very happy. How happy are you with the current state of front end? This is super interesting. Look at that. Generally speaking, it's been on a nothing but a downward slope. Wow. I don't know about these 2 years. The least happy they have ever been has been in 2023. Huh. Why do you guys think that is? Real talk, why do you guys think that is? Layoffs? You think it's layoffs are the reason why people are unhappy with front end? Complexity, COVID, feature bloat? Inverted yield curve? Donald Trump JS? Server-side rendering? Next.js has too many features and is required for jobs. I've never seen a job require Next.js. AI code generators are making people scared for the job, but what does that have to do with satisfaction of front-end frameworks? Backend envy? Well, everybody wants that. Donald Trump JS just gives an announcement like huge and fantastic. Best code ever written. Yet today that requires Next? Interesting. Yeah, I would have. Good morning. Ooh, there we go. I think this is a good one right here. Todd Ball, I think you're onto it. I think you're onto this one right here. I think this is the one. People, so 2018 to 2019, we don't know why people became less happy. But 2020, a whole bunch of people flooded into the market, started practicing, and then they realized how hard programming is. And maybe the newness of it all wore off, and now they're going into it, and they're all jaded about front-end programming. Realizing that the ecosystem is not good. It's a reasonable argument, at least. You know, it's a Wagner, a wild ass guess, not easily refutable, but it's not. It feels easy, feels easy to accept. It's truthy. Front end framework pain points, React issues, lack of signals. If lack of signals is the reason why you think React is difficult, I think you're just incorrect. I mean, I do like signals over React's style for sure. Choice overload, excessive complexity, performance, state management. State management's always difficult. Speed of change, interesting. Angular dependencies, build tools. Really, build tools are people don't really think build tools are a problem. Lack of tools, bundlers. Don't we have like 18 tools for every single thing you can possibly do? Web components, RIP web components. Hey, Y is Go and A in the tier list. I'm not even sure what we're talking about. It looks like they. My guess is that they're having. I think aren't these all front end master courses? That's what it seems like. Build tools are people too. Meta frameworks ratios over time. This must be Next.js. Yeah, Next.js is in shocking dominance. I think this makes sense why Next.js is getting such negative coverage is that everybody is using it. And anytime people start using something, it just becomes more negative. So like to be completely fair, React has more negative sentiment than say something like Vue because everybody uses React. Right? Like that just makes sense, right? What's the Bjarne quote? There's the programming language everybody complains about, and then there's the programming languages people don't use. So everything's nice until you start using it, and you realize that there's two kinds of languages: the ones people complain about and the one nobody uses. There you go, that one. Yeah, so maybe that's just what's happening is that now that you're using it, you realize it's difficult. It doesn't really work. Interesting. Gatsby's on its way down. Astro's rise is really shocking. Look at how fast Astro's going up. Meta frameworks experience. So pretty negative. Nuxt really negative. Gatsby outstandingly negative. Astro pretty negative. I'm surprised by that. More people have a negative interest in Astro than they do of Next.js. I wonder what caused that. But what's interesting is that the same amount of people there's more absolutely negative people against Astro than there are against Next.js. Huh. Wow. Too many things to learn? It's not negative, it's just not interested. Well, yeah, not interested. Okay, not interested is not negative. Okay, fair. Sorry, red makes me think negative. You're right. It's not interested. My bad. But Gatsby's really not interested. Astro's really not interested. SvelteKit's not really interested. Interesting. Okay. Huh. 16% on Svelte is criminal. I mean, look at this one. That's not good. But I guess let's look at Astro. Very few people used it and had a negative experience, though. So that's actually pretty cool. Look at that. Very few people had negative experiences with Astro, and a good portion had a negative experience with Next.js. I wonder what this means. Are we seeing a bit of a concave down? So what that says to me, looking at Next.js versus Astro, what I'm seeing right now is that there's a huge amount of negativeness against against Next.js versus Astro, which to me says that Astro is still still on the concave up style, whereas Next.js is on the concave down. And so they're going to probably slow down or become like effectively no change next year, whereas I think Astro is going to rise another level. Interesting. Very cool. I'm not drawing a basketball court. Everyone always loves my basketball courts. They love my basketball courts. Other meta frameworks. Literally never heard of Analog, Quasar, or Vite Press, or Refine. Bun. Bun's a meta framework? Is it fair to call Bun a meta framework? What are meta frameworks? Frameworks produced by the company Meta. Let's go. Yeah. That's why they're called meta frameworks. Yeah, but Bun should not be here. Bun makes literally no sense being here. Because Bun is not a meta framework. Meta frameworks, effectively, meta frameworks is what we use the term for frameworks. Okay? Meta frameworks just effectively control your whole soup to nuts for both your client and your server. I think what they're saying is a framework is something that controls either client or server, and meta framework is something that has indication on both your client and your server. That's as far as I've really understood this idea of a meta framework. A meta framework uses frameworks. It's a framework on a framework. It's framework on a framework. Bun is a runtime. Typically, I'd say Bun is a runtime. Pocketbase, Google developer expert, data enthusiast, and YouTuber. Fireship, legendary, by the way. I think meta framework is a framework of a framework. I think it's a framework of a framework. It's a framework of frameworks. Let's go. Meta frameworks, happiness. Not happy. We are genuinely not happy. That's not looking good. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not looking good. 2023, people ain't happy about that. Damn, 2.4. That's lower than they are with front end sentiment. I'm not sure if we still have front end sentiment up here. No, that must have been on the previous page. But dang, people are not happy with that. 2.7 for front end sentiment. So you give a front end engineer back end as well, they become less happy. Isn't that technically positive? Yeah, but it's wild to think that the average is getting close to neutral. Like, that's pretty negative. That's pretty negative. Meta framework pain points, Next.js. Next.js issues, Next.js app router, Next.js 13, Next.js cache. Excessive complexity. That seems to be like a running theme here, is that we do a lot of complexity, like a lot of complexity. React. Front-end meta framework pain points. React itself. Always Next.js. Skill issues overload. I can understand Vercel, the company. Just the entirety of the company is a problem. Just React. SSR, that's kind of interesting because it does add complexity. Server-side rendering is just more complex by far. Scott Moss, what do you got? Yeah, Scott Moss. Let's go. 2 Scott Moss courses. All right, testing. Testing tools. Jest is still number 1. Yeah, I mean, that's not too surprising. Storybook is number 2. Interesting. I would not have thought that. Cypress is number 3. Mocha is number 4. Testing Library is number 5. Puppeteer. Selenium. Vitest. I'm surprised that Vitest is so far down. Maybe it's probably just not a share of, you know what it is? It's probably just share. Yeah, Mocha's on its way out. But this, I mean, okay, so this is actually really interesting. You should take a second and think about this. Mocha was the number 2 most used testing framework in 2021. Why? Legacy people. Like, legacy is real. Like, that's how strong it is. A testing library that probably hasn't been a single new project being used with Mocha in probably 5 years has managed to stay number 2 well into it. Have I used Node.js Test Runner? Yeah, I tried it once. It was nice. Nice enough, I guess. Cypress is on the rise, so people must like Cypress. But this, I mean, look at that. Mocha's still number 4. And think about how many new projects, and just generally speaking, with 23,000 people, largely a Twitter survey, how many of those people are new, are running into Mocha. Not very happy about that. Mocha, people are not positive about Mocha. People are still positive about Jest. My workplace still uses Jasmine. Yeah, that's real. That's just real. Vitest is really positive. Vitest has the most retention. Also, not surprising that Jest has less retention. Mocha has very little retention. Selenium is just dying. Test Cafe, WebDriver, Mocha just hurting Cypress. Oh, interesting. Cypress is losing retention, losing positivity. Interesting. Yeah, that's not surprising. Vitest. Yeah, Jest is slow AF. Jest is not only is it slow AF, it also is. It's really, 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 really slow and memory intensive. E2E is a dream and a dumb one. I like end-to-end testing, but end-to-end testing is largely, I would say end-to-end testing generally is a pipe dream for big companies. It's very, very difficult. The smaller your company, the harder it is to have end-to-end tests, I would say. Will there be enough power in the near future to fuel all computers? Not if you're running Node. Jest, I find Jest to be very negative. I have no interest in Jest. Let's find, where's Vite? Let's find Vite. Vite, look at how positive it is. This is shockingly positive. And I bet you most of the negativities around Vitest is going to be everything to do with, will probably have everything to do with like ESM and CJS. You know what I mean? Everything else is much, much more negative. I mean, look at Selenium. Even testing library. Mocha. Wow, people will use it again? Wow. People just want to use... Damn. Other testing tools, Bun, Jasmine, Karma, wow. Remember when Karma was called Testacular? I'm okay with a solid pun in conversation, but it's really hard suggesting using Testacular in many, many settings. Or at least stick with the spec/Testacular combined word in marketing and quit talking about balls. Oh, to live in 2013. Who would have guessed that 10 years later, balls is half of what we talk about? Who would have guessed? Anyways, that's Karma. Karma used to be called Spectacular or Testacular. Bun, not surprising that Bun is a huge testing tool. Un.js ecosystem is like a developer toy box from OFetch and Consola to Cydia to Nitro. There is likely something for your next big project. Un.js, I literally have never heard of Un.js. I have never heard of Un.js. Testing tool happiness. On a scale from 0 to 4, what's your happiness? Dang. Dude, 2018 was peak web dev happiness. Dude, isn't that interesting that there was the exact same happiness rating of a really high amount in 2018 for front-end frameworks, and each one of them has proportionally gone downhill. Mocking's your problem. You're testing. To me, mocking means you're probably testing something goofy. Configuration, that's real. Performance, that's a jest problem. Jest, that's a jest problem. ESM versus CJS, absolutely. Excessive complexity is probably an ESM versus CJS thing. End-to-end testing, good luck. Flakiness, that's an end-to-end testing problem. TypeScript support, well, then you have all these things running, which causes more memory and process usage. It can be very, very annoying. Cypress as a whole, unit testing. Lack of documentation, debugging. Yeah. All of these are real. CJS being used is a disaster. Yeah, it is pretty difficult. It is pretty difficult. All right, mobile and desktop. All right, now we're getting into the weird territory. What is this? Electron, still number one. I do think it's a little bit weird to have React Native and Electron, like side by side. Right? Side by side, a little annoying. Someone just said, hold on, Flip, you can take this part out. But someone just said, why the F do I see ads? I got Twitch fucking Prime. Twitch is ass. You have Twitch Prime. You just got to use it. You know what I mean? Anyways, so I just noticed that. Can't really. That's kind of a user error. That's kind of, you got to get turbo. There you go. That's the W right there. You get turbo. That's a skill issue. It was you skill issued on accident. It's okay. Let's see, native apps. Okay, native apps on the rise. That's not surprising either, because it's just like, I think it's harder and harder to write an application in a single language. I think that is difficult, generally speaking. Cordova, not surprising that it's going down, because it's really hard, right? I think Cordova goes down because native apps go up. React Native is great. I'm sure React Native is great, but I think there's just comes a point where it just becomes harder and harder. Like there's only certain levels you can get to. You're my new favorite subscription. Thank you. I think it just, like, if you want really native feeling applications and you want them to be really, really fast, it's very difficult. Like Netflix went away from React Native in 2019, 2020. I can't remember the exact year, because it was just too difficult. It was just too difficult to make them to really be as smooth as you need them. Capacitor, Tari. Come on, bro, it's Rust. Native script, let's go. Quasar. I don't know what NWJS is. NWJS is crazy. All right, mobile and desktop tools, experience and sentiment. Thank you for having negative experiences. Please don't use it again. Please don't use it again. Don't use it again. Don't use it again. I'm surprised React Native has this large of a negativity. Native apps. People just would not want to create another native app. No, thank you. I don't know what Expo is. Cordova, that's also not surprising. Cordova is probably on the way down. I blame Expo. You blame Expo? Okay. I don't have enough experience in the mobile world. I did a little bit of mobile development a long time ago once. So a lot of these, progressive web app. I love that that's just like a thing. That's just a category. You can give me that progressive web app. So I don't really have a lot to say about any of these. PWA builder, PWA. 9% never heard of native apps. That's the world we live in. This is the world we live in. That 9% of people don't realize that a phone isn't a web browser. Also, I would just like to pour one out for the 6% of people who don't know what Electron is. Just think about that for a second. The blessed 6%, no, they just clueless. They clueless. They're not blessed, they're clueless. There's a big difference. All right, mobile desktop tools and happiness. Let me guess, 2018? 2018, they're the happiest. Least happy today. What is this? What happened in 2018? Trump economy. Flappy Birds? Was it Flappy Birds? Drugs, Flutter, fentanyl? What is it? Why is everyone less happy? 2016, nobody was happy. And then it went to highest happiness in 2018. It's gone down in happiness since then. Mobile and desktop pain points performance. Yeah. Is anybody confused about this? Anybody? Anybody confused why performance is number one? Nope. All right, we can just move on. More front end masters recommendations. Next, build tools. Let's just go with rank. All this not surprising that Vite's so high. Yep, the rest of them. ES builds raising, that makes sense. Rollup has gone the way down. Yeah, Rollup's actually pretty nice. Generally speaking, Rollup is actually a pretty nice one. I'm surprised it's on its way down. Turbo Pack. Yeah, Turbo Pack will be interesting to see where it is next year. SWC, I'm surprised SWC actually is losing out because of, I guess Vite got put in, and so then SWC. Okay, yeah. All right, whatever. Yep. Negative experience. This is not surprising at all. Like, this is surprising. 4% of people have heard of Webpack and were positive. Imagine that. That's surprising. I'm positive Webpack exists. Not only is Webpack exist, they're actually interested in touching it. They're like, get my hands on it. Rollup, yeah, Rollup is surprising that it's so low, considering Rollup is just, I mean, you're using Rollup here. Beastco, you'll never win that argument. Other build tools. Again, Bun's shockingly probably pretty good, but Bun's just not used. Bun's actually a really good build tool. It's just not used. Gulp still here is shocking. If Grunt, oh my gosh, Grunt is still here. 9 respondents. 9 respondents actually said something about Grunt. Let's go. Let's go, Grunt. Let's go. All right, what does Satya have to say? FormKit's auto animate library, which you can see in action right on this site, does exactly what its name implies, and somehow figures out how to add animations to your app with a single line of code. Nice. Build tool happiness. We just took, dude, 2018's gone. Look at that. 2018 is gone. We would have had, think about how happy we would have been. I guess build tools are the only ones in which people are generally just not necessarily all that happy or sad. They're kind of in the middle. Build a tool pain points configuration. Yep, Webpack. You could just say the word Webpack or really Vite. You could just say any of them. They're all configuration. Configuration is just really hard. Performance, not surprising. Excessive complexity, not surprising. Webpack issues, let's go. This is a curse. This is a curse. This right here is just a curse. My gosh. I hate mono repos. Every single time, I have a whole theory of mono repos. Here's my entire theory about mono repos. Mono repos, specifically for JavaScript, always start off sounding good because you'll have like a package, then you'll have another package, and they really need to increment fast, right? You're just constantly going up in the version numbers. So I totally get why you'd want to use mono repos to begin with, because you just get into, if you've never used it, NPM versioning hell, where you have to like increment, then you have to update the next one, then you have to increment, update the next one, then you have to increment, then update the next one, then you have to increment. I've been in NPM version hell. I totally understand why mono repos make sense. But once you reach a certain state of like, of maturity, they just start making less and less and less sense. And when you reach the state of maturity, the amount of effort it takes to continuously make the build tools and everything work nicely just seem to be going up and up and up and up. And eventually you literally have 1 to 3 people dedicated just for like build tooling and crap. It's wild what ends up happening. It's wild. It's wild. Build tools to build the tools that build the build tools for your tools. I've actually seen this happen, can confirm. I've seen this happen as well, can confirm. We have multi-repo set up, and I am the guy doing the build tools. Called it. There's no alternative. Eventually, I slowly start breaking them out. What is Lerna? Lerna is like one of the first ones. Lerna was one of the first ones. Lerna's actually not all that bad. Like, there's a lot of good concepts in Lerna. Not surprising that PNPM did this. NPM should be on here, right? NPM workspaces, not surprising. Yarn workspaces. I would say there is no greater sign of a crazy environment such as Node. Let me say this again. How do we say this? I think nothing is more indicative of just the complete fracturing nonsense of the JavaScript ecosystem than the fact that the top 3 mono repo tools are versions of NPM, PNPM, NPM, Yarn. 3 tools to manage a JavaScript. 3 tools to install JavaScript dependencies and manage your project. Also, PNPM. Also, PNPM is impossible to type in correctly, ever. And ain't nobody like Rush. I don't even know what Rush is. Monotool experience, PNPM. Yeah, I used PNPM mono repos. It was fine. There's some things that bothered me, but overall pretty fine. I've used NPM workspaces. They're nice. The problem with PNPM workspaces is very, very simple. They just add in bespoke PP and PNPM. Pick, you shut up. The problem with NPM is that it contains bespoke syntax that NPM's not going to adopt. And so then you get into this whole problem of if you have like a org that's a part of build tools, they're not going to want to support PNPM because PNPM is like a bespoke build tool with a bespoke way of building stuff. And they effectively have a workspace star syntax, and how you set up and link things are kind of goofy. And then you get into this whole like argument between the two, and it's just such a pain in the ass. It really is. It truly is. Other mono repo tools. Bun. Okay, Bun again. But Bun's also another flavor of NPM. If you think about it. If you really think about it. All right. Mono repo tools happiness. When I say Bun is another version of NPM or whatever I said, I forget which one I even compared it to. It is because it does the installing and it allows you to do workspaces and builds. It just also is a bunch more. A resounding meh. It just means we're most of us are happier, or there are more people that are happy than there are people that are unhappy, but there's not that many far away. What this really says to me is that there's a bunch of people who build simple applications and never need to change their tools. And then there's a bunch of people who need to slightly edit their tools to massively edit their tools, and they're deeply unhappy. That's what I say. That's what I say. Pain points, package management issues, configuration, excessive dependencies, version changes, lack of documentation, performance. Any of this shocking? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Anyways, all right. Libraries, Lodash. Can you believe Lodash is still Lodashing? Zod, Moment. I mean, Moment makes sense. Day.js, RxJS. Wow. I don't even know. I'm not even sure what this. jQuery, okay. I'm not even, what is this? That you use regularly. RxJS, yup. jQuery, Core.js. People regularly use Core.js. Yeah, long dash is a long tail of dependency inclusion. Yeah, low dash is in every single website. RxJS because of NX monorepos? Really? Or Angular. Angular also does a lot of RxJS. Immer. Now, that's a name I have not heard in a long time. All right, graphics. 3JS, D3, Frame Motion. A lot. I've never heard of Lottie. GreenSock. Never heard of GreenSock either. React Spring. Anime.js. You furries. All of you. All of you. Don't make me get out my keycaps. Backend frameworks. Express, Nest, Fastify, Strappy, Happy, Meteor, Adonias. I'm not sure how to say that one. Directus, Sales. I haven't heard of these three. Or Koa. Huh. NX is set up to work the best with Nest. Oh, okay. All of these should not exist because, JavaScript on the server is probably the mistake. It's not surprising that Express.js is like the number one understood one, yeah. JavaScript runtimes, Node.js, not surprising. Browser, not surprising. Bun, not surprising. Service workers, interesting. Interesting that these are like somehow separated out from browsers. Hermes, remember Hermes? Dino, Chakra Core. Wow, people are still using Chakra Core. None. Absolute gigachads. Absolute gigachads coming in here. 128 of them were just like, yeah, I'm gonna take your state of the state of the 2023 JavaScript survey, and I don't use JavaScript. Got him. Respect. JavaScript, Edge, and serverless runtimes. AWS Lambda, Vercel, Cloudflare. Yeah, I mean, this is all. Fly.io. Fly.io is actually really nice. I'd say Fly.io is actually a very compelling one out of all of them because you just need a Docker file. Like I haven't used Fly.io enough to be like really extensive with it, but it's pretty nice. It's nice, but it breaks all the time. I haven't had any problem with Fly.io currently. A Docker file, and you can just I just use it for my Go application, right? Like I don't use it for other stuff, so I find it to be very nice. You know, I find it to be just a generally good experience so far. And I also use Fly.io not for edge functions or serverless runtimes. By the way, I use Fly.io for long running applications. And I find it to be very nice. I think Fly.io being in the edge/serverless runtimes is a little bit odd because it's not really a serverless thing. Fly.io is just Docker with batteries included. Yeah. All right, non-JavaScript languages. Is this just a list of non-JavaScript languages? Python being number... Okay, I guess it's not surprising that Python and PHP are and Java. Right here, by the way. This should tell you what you need to get a job. Diggy. Yes. This should tell you what you need to get a job. Like, I know a lot of people are out there wanting to get a job, and I hear it all the time. People are struggling getting their first job. You want to know some languages that have a lot of people programming in, other than JavaScript? Also, Bash being this high is a little bit confusing. I'm a little bit confused that Bash is so high and Rust is so high. Rust feels wrong Go's not surprising. Rust feels odd, and Bash feels odd. The fact that Bash is number 5 feels a little weird. Data bias. There's definitely some data biasing problem in here. But the fact that C#, Java, PHP, and Python are right here, this should not be surprising. It's like absolutely not surprising. You said I can find COBOL jobs. I searched and found one job for like 100K. I was promised 500K. You can find bigger ones. You can. AI tools. ChatGPT, Copilot, Google Bard, Microsoft Bing, Tab9. Tab9, good job. JetBrains AI, Find, Codium, V0. V0 is pretty interesting. I've used V0 to code me up some nice Tailwind styles. I've used V0 many times for just coding up my stuff. I've enjoyed the experience of V0. I don't use Copilot or ChatGPT largely whenever I'm programming. And I'm also shocked at how much people use it. I don't know. Maybe an old man. V0 can be handy AF. Yeah, still can't beat JetBrains Writer. I haven't used JetBrains Writer in so long. Hosting services. I mean, anyone surprised by this ordering? For GitHub pages being really high up? Anyone surprised by this? Not at all. Yeah. Poor image. Poor Jem Young. Jem Young is such a beautiful man, and yet here he is. Not even there. Let's see. TypeScript, JavaScript. 100% let's go. JSDoc, I'm a huge... JSDoc, I'm a huge fan of. I've become such a bigger fan of 100% JS with JSDoc. It's really, really nice. I've become big time fan. No build, oh my gosh. No build, JSDoc, woof. So easy, so nice. 100% TS, not surprising. And this is not surprising at all, right? Generally speaking, TypeScript has made JavaScript pretty convenient. We JSDoc'd at Segment before is cool. No build is a lie. I literally no build. I literally just send up the files and send them down. And I find it enjoyable. Because I also, like, here's the deal. No build makes sense if you don't use big, gigantic frameworks. Does that make sense? Because here's the reality. If you want to use no build and JavaScript, you must understand that the amount of JavaScript you write is going to be really, really small. The amount of JavaScript that you use in a framework is going to be just absolutely massive. So if you are just setting down just your JavaScript, it's pretty small. If you include React, it's probably not going to happen, right? It's probably just not going to happen. And then I understand if you use React or any of these libraries, you should probably have a build step, minify it, throw it all in. React is a thick boy. React is a thick boy. My JavaScript is not small, it's average. Is it pick? Is it? No build, just raw includes, yeah. Oh yeah, I do that. But I also only have like 600, 700 lines of JavaScript. Like that's how much JavaScript I have for my real-time renderer for the video games. Since it's all server-side, the real-time renderer doesn't need a lot of logic. It's just a few hundred lines of JavaScript. It's like very easy. JavaScript uses professionally, as a hobby, as a student. Really? Yeah, I mean, I guess hobbyist, this makes sense. I mean, pretty much all roads lead to JavaScript. There is no avoiding JavaScript. Let's see. JavaScript usage, front end, perfect. Back end, criminal. Mobile applications, potentially criminal. Desktop apps, Electron, criminal. Data visualization, interesting. Graphics and animation, interesting. Data analysis, really. Game development, yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense because game development and front end. I mean, come on. Let's go. Machine learning, actually criminal. Embedded applications, come on. Scripting, command line tools. What is this? Dude, but I think the most egregious two are these two right here. If embedded applications with JavaScript, just absolute criminal. Industry sector, programming and technical tools. Most people, consulting services. That makes sense. E-commerce, yeah. Finance, education, marketing and sales, analytics tool, entertainment, healthcare, media, news, blogging, government. I mean, most of these could all fall under, what's it called? E-commerce and retail could have most of these things all fall into there. Yeah, e-com, let's go. Let's go. Application patterns, single page application, most people. Let's go. Let's spot. We're spawn it hard. Let's have all the data, all the state, all the stuff. SSR, SSG, MPA, PA, IA, PE, ISG, SSSR. Too many S's. Progressive hydration, edge rendering, partial pre-rendering, resumability, micro front end, other answers. There's so many ways. There's so many ways to write a front end. I wonder why unhappiness has been going up. If only there was something I could like just point to that showed unhappiness of JavaScript developers. If only there was just anything. It would be so... We could be happier. We could solve problems. JavaScript pain points. Code architecture. I like it. State management. Yep. Geez, if only you create a problem of managing all the state on the client, then you create tools to help manage the state. And so then you have this whole problem of data that comes in that has to be passed through state management, that then has to be linked up to your UI framework, that then has to be rendered out to the DOM. Like, you did create many steps for state management. Many, many steps. Build tools, also not surprising that build tools are just like... I'm surprised at how people had such positive views of build tools, and now 28 is now the third biggest pain point. Managing dependencies, performance, yep, debugging. Debugging? I've never had a problem with debugging JavaScript. I'm always a bit surprised by that one. Async code, I mean, that's never been a problem. Finding packages, finding good packages. Writing modules, really? I'm surprised that this is so small. This should be like the biggest one ever. Huh. Missing features, static typing, standard library. Oh my gosh, yet you choose it for the back end. Like, maybe you should just try something different. You know, maybe what would be good, I think this is the biggest indication of just like the maturity of the JavaScript ecosystem right here, or the maturity of the developer of a JavaScript ecosystem. Error handling is all the way down here. I'd say error handling is probably the single most egregious thing right now in JavaScript, and it will never change. It is awful. It is so bad. Don't make errors, lol. Just don't make errors, lol. Just let node die and restart. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's what people do. Look, they got a picture of Gem now. Let's go. Try, catch, 500. Try, catch, I don't know. You could do like a math.random, and every time you catch, it's either a 400 or a 500, and just be like, you're bad. Wait, no, my bad. You're bad. Nah, it's actually my bad. Just see what happens. You know, just see what happens. Let's just try it out. Rather than provide a predefined list of options for the survey respondents to pick from, we decided to simply offer raw text fields. This led to quite a few entrants in this year's resource selections. Paid courses. Front-end Masters, let's go. Udemy, YouTube, Pluralsight, Zero to Mastery, Wes, Fireship, to just have their own category. Where's boot.dev? 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 Boot. Damn. No boot.dev. Just 200 air true. That hurts. Rip Wags Lane. Wags Lane getting ripped. All right, podcasts. All right, what do we got? We got Syntax, JS Party, Web Standards, Changelog, Shop Talk. I'm a podcast. Let's go. I'm a podcast. Let's go. Fireship, Theo. Oh, man. Destroying it. 53 respondents. Let's go. 53 respondents. But look at how many respondents there are. There's 1,000. Right? It's not really that impressive. Video creators. Which programming-related video creators do you follow on YouTube and Twitch? Let's go. Number 2. Number 2. I'm number 2. JavaScript influencer. Number 2. JavaScript influencer, everybody. And my message to you is try something other than JavaScript. Think about that. Think about that for a second. It's weird times. Weird times we live in. All right, people, which individuals do you read, follow, or just want to highlight in the JavaScript community? Yes. Yes, I'm all the way down there. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, there we go. I'm starting to get some W's now. I'm starting to get some W's. All right, I'm really struggling in this. Really struggling in this category. You are the Karen of JS. What? How does that make any sense? All right. Nice. And Matt Pocock, or Matt Pocock, not surprising. He's up here. Let's go. Pretty evenly distributed, yeah. Rich Harris, it's criminal that he's not number 1. Rich Harris, Dan Abramov, Matt. I mean, these people are actually building pretty crazy stuff. Anthony Fu, Ryan Carniato. I mean, they're building some pretty wild stuff. Jared. Yeah, look at the difference in voting, though. It's like there's very few votes overall. Other surveys? There's a bunch of surveys. Wow, there's a lot of surveys. I didn't know there's that many surveys. Recommended courses? Free. That's right, it is free. Everybody, let's go. Let's go. Double whammy. Double whammy. It would have been cool if they would have mirrored this image, though. Had me pointing the other way, at least. You know what I mean? Let's go. Why does it say Netflix? Because I worked at Netflix when I wrote it. Let's see. Things that stood out this year. Most adopted technologies, highest retention. I thought that was wild. Vite. Vite, once again, takes the top spot. Okay, wow. This is Vite. What's behind door number 1? Oh. What's behind board? Oh. All right. Highest interest. Vite test. Most write-ins. Vite. Bun. Okay. All right. Most commented library. Award to the library which received the most comments. Lodash. React. Yeah, I should know that. Most loved library. Vite. Literally first try. Literally first try. Conclusion. Y'all, what's cool? What a cool year to be on the internet. There's so many interesting and exciting changes happening now. I've got my popcorn next to my keyboard, building and watching. The fact that so many smaller libraries like Preact, Solid, and HTMX are climbing in positive sentiment over something massive like Next.js is fascinating. We're starting to see Angular make a bit of a comeback. Wasn't Angular the most negative it's ever been? And we'll see that that trend continues next year. We're seeing people fall out of love with some of the industry darlings. We're seeing very rusty system grow. Astro feels like it's off to the races in developer support. In terms of actual browser features, it almost feels like we're going too fast for the world to catch up, which is not always a bad thing necessarily. But I totally echo the sentiments that the browser support is my primary concern over all the cool things coming out. That being said, I personally love using some of the new array features and the fact that more and more folks are supporting PWAs. Next year, let's move the diversity of responses, get more people developing, and hopefully all new and exciting changes err on the side of fun rather than intimidating. Thanks, Satya and the team, for including me here and for running another awesome and valuable survey. See you online. Thank you, Cassidoo. That was great. Theodore Brown. Brownington. Theodore Brownington. What was that thing? There was some stupid image. Top 6 favorite influencers was Theo Brown, T3 Brown, Theodore Brownington. All right, JavaScript is moving to the server, and we're uneasy about it. Facts. Last year's survey, we saw a quickly growing adoption of server-rendered frameworks like Next, Nuxt, Remix, and SvelteKit. This year, we've shifted to server-first patterns such as partial hydration and islands, which doubled their adoption. Libraries like HTMX show the web devs aren't only the ones benefiting from utilizing the server. Spas aren't going anywhere. Take a look at Inertia for proof. But as these new patterns continue to improve, the market seems to be following along. This move has not been unanimously loved. React's continued to grow, but React developers are increasingly concerned about its direction. Getting here has been rough, but progress is being made every day. That's kind of interesting. If progress is being made every day, but people are getting increasingly more upset, I wonder what that says about, are you progressing correctly? I don't know. It's not on me to make that decision. We're also seeing more adoption outside of React ecosystem, from Nuxt to Solid Start to Astro. All of the best React server component features are rolling out to every developer. And of course, Vite has continued to dominate and is the choice for app developers and framework authors alike. Hard to imagine where we'd be without it today. Webpacking. You'd be webpacking. People hate change? You think that's the problem? People just hate change? I don't think I honestly don't think it's change that people hate. I don't think it's change. I think that's too simplistic of a. I think it's just too simplistic of a view. The 2013 JavaScript survey ran from November 22nd to December 12th, 2023, and collected 23,000 responses. The results were published on June 20th. 2024. The survey is run by Devographics, a collective consisting of me, Satya Grief, and Eric Burrell, as well as invited experts and open source contributors. The State of JavaScript logo and t-shirts were designed by Christopher Kirk Nielsen. Survey goals. This survey was created to identify upcoming trends in the web ecosystem in order to help developers make technological choices, the survey is focused on anticipating what's coming over the next few years rather than analyzing what's popular now, which is why features or technologies may sometimes be omitted, even if they are currently widespread. It should be taken as a snapshot of a specific subset of developers and is not meant to speak for the entire ecosystem. Let's see. Survey design. The survey is designed to be in part based on last year's survey with an open feedback period where the survey outline was discussed on GitHub. All survey questions were optional. Survey audience. The survey was openly accessible online, and respondents were not filtered or selected in any way. Respondents were primarily a mix of respondents from past surveys, alerted through dedicated mailing list and social media traffic. Note that frameworks, libraries, etc. were free to encourage their audience to participate in the survey, and some of them did take advantage of this via banners, tweets, etc. Detailed breakdown of traffic is included in the sources chart. Project funding. Funding comes from a variety of sources: t-shirt sales, sponsored links. Nice. Front-end masters. There you go. Go sign up. Direct funding this year. Google funded my work on the survey. Any contribution or sponsorship is greatly appreciated. We would especially like to work closely with more browser vendors since they play such a central role in the web ecosystem. There you go. Prediction. I want to make a prediction. Are you guys ready for this one? I think next year, React will see a further negative sentiment. I think Next.js is going to see a negative sentiment. I think Astro is going to see a positive growth again. I think Astro is going to see a huge a continued increase. I think legacy will still be the biggest dominator in most of the graphs. So things like Mocha, Jest, all that will still be a huge one. I don't think WASM's going to be up there. I think HTMX, I'm curious where HTMX is going to go over the next year. I've seen a lot of people adopting it. A lot of people building tools for their company have been adopting it really hard because they're kind of like, they have like, like I effectively did the same thing at Netflix where it's like you build an internal tool and you have to build it with React, just because that's what everything's set up with. So instead, since I already have API endpoints and all that, I just build it with HTMX and I can just go so much faster. So I'm very curious what HTMX is like this year, 2024, what's going to happen. I think it's going to do really well in the tools department. I'm curious about big websites in HTMX. Can you actually have a big code base and be happy with any front-end framework you choose? My general thoughts is that no matter what you use, you will probably not be that happy, because programming in the large just generally is not a good experience. Like programming a 100,000 line application can generally be a pretty good experience. Programming a 1,000,000 line generally is going to be a pretty awful experience. Why are you so down on React? I've just had to use it so many times throughout my career. I just generally dislike React. I find it to be a very annoying thing. Programming sucks. Yeah, programming does suck. Generally speaking, programming sucks. Like once you get once you get into a large enough thing, I think you will realize it's all shit. Like programming is fun in the small. Post React trauma is real. Yeah. Like I love programming. Don't get me wrong. I program a lot. I enjoy programming. But it's also extremely it's painful as it gets bigger. How many lines are in AAA games? Oh, multi-million. Right? They're huge. What she said. She said it. And disgusting. Maybe that's why people started disliking the new JavaScript frameworks over time as they made their way into bigger apps. Probably. I mean, this is generally why I don't take the internet's advice for most things, is because the internet builds a bunch of to-do applications. The newest version of whatever we're using is really convenient, and everybody loves it because it is nice. And then you go and you use it somewhere else, and you realize, like, as it grows and as it gets bigger, it just starts sucking, and then everybody hates it. And then you realize, oh, it actually doesn't scale like it did in the to-do MVC app. So, develop for a to-do, sucks for everything else. Applies to HTMX? I'm sure it does apply to HTMX too. The thing is that where does that scaling point happen? This is something that you probably need to understand very specifically about applications, is that there is this, or let me say it this way. Here's a very important thing to understand about using libraries to solve your problems, is that as complexity goes up, which is usually typically directly related to lines of code. So if we have 100, 1,000, 100,000, and then like out here, let's just say 1 million, typically all applications at some point start doing this for complexity every single time. It's just like something bad happens. And every framework has this curve dictated for how long this lasts. And each one has a different one. I find certain ones to be much harder. I find other ones to be much easier. My current expectation of HTMX is this, which is very flat. And then from here, I start to get question marks because I've never built something into the 100,000 line. So I have no idea. Does HTMX do this here? Does it do it out here? I don't know. It does it at some point because all applications do it. And so where does React do it? For me, React starts getting really complicated in this region right here. It's really easy to reason about React in a couple thousand line code base. Like, I just don't think it's hard. Also depends on the dev disciplines. That hockey stick can jump early. Yes, it does. So this is somewhere between 1,000 to 100,000. I find it to start going wild. I haven't used Svelte long enough to go beyond this. Svelte, just by its sheer nature, seems like it will go into the 100,000s before going up. just by the way it is. Same with like it's very HTMXy. You kind of build your own little islands for each one of the things you want. And you can kind of just write JavaScript. So it feels like Svelte is going to have a really nice long tail on it. Just because you get more access to just JavaScript. You're just writing JavaScript, which gives you a very nice it gives you a lot more experience. Whereas like React, you can't just write JavaScript. You have to write React. You have to write React to interact with everything. And that's different. So that's something to really think about. I think that's why Solid.js and React will probably have the same curve. I think Solid.js and React will probably get complicated in this region. Somewhere at 10,000 to 100,000, I think you'll hit that complication curve pretty quickly. I think HTMX can have a complication curve early, all the way to late, and that's because of the type of library it is. I think Svelte will just have it naturally later, and I think Astro might also have it naturally later. My personal guess is that HTMX has more to do with dev discipline than it does anything else. I think React is going to be itself plus dev discipline. And I think that's the same with Solid.js. And then probably Svelte I'd put under HTMX. That's my current gut feel. I could be wrong. Perhaps Astro is a little bit of both. Perhaps Astro is heavier weighted on dev discipline than itself. Right. There you go. Yeah. On the analogy that React gets messier because you have to write not not just JS. Shouldn't assembly be the most scalable? No, these are one of those bad things when you take it out to infinity, right? Because what I mean by that is that you have an environment that already exists. It has all the hooking up to a browser, and you put something on top of it for you to be able to interact with this easier. The problem is that the complexity that this thing adds falls onto you as well. WebAssembly is really difficult to debug. Yes, absolutely. These arguments tend to be just really, I typically think of these arguments as being cheap and easy. People make these kind of arguments all the time. Oh, you say that you want to be able to have control over your language. Why not just use assembly, which gives you the most control? It's just like, we already know that assembly is very difficult, right? Assembly is not the right abstraction for humans to write 99.999% of the time. What's harder, C++ or Elden Ring DLC? Oh, C++, easy. Right? There's a human readable moment which happens at C. At C and beyond, these are all human readable experiences. Now it's like, which one makes it easier? Having full control over all memory at C versus, say, Zig, which Zig gives you the same full control as C. Effectively, it's like the same thing. They just add a couple safety features and null protection, and this thing becomes really easy. Couple safety features, null protection, and you can attach functions on structs, and this thing is like really simple to use. Right? It absolutely makes it more simpler. What are those couple safety features? Arrays have lengths associated with them. So like that's super important. Slices and arrays have, so if you want to make a pointer, you don't do pointer arithmetic, right? So if you were doing this in the old days, you'd do something like this, right? You do some sort of crazy, you'd like jump in and do that, or you would adjust your pointer itself, right? Like you're doing things that you don't need to do with Zig. Whereas with Zig, you would do something like this. You would have an array of U8, and if you wanted to slice it, you'd say start to end. This is the same thing as just updating the pointer. right? So if you wanted to increment this pointer by 1, you could literally just go 1, right? You've just plus 1'd that by pointer width, by pointer width, by pointer width, by pointer width. And so Zig gives you this ability to have like kind of those basic safety features that you just wouldn't have. And anytime you create an array or a slice, you can dot length it. That makes it easier. You can also do nullables, which means that you have to go if nullable, then capture the value. And you have to use it inside of here, right? They're just like extremely basic safety features that prevent you from shooting yourself in the foot. It's like very, very minimal, but it's just enough to make a huge difference. Anyways, hey, the name is the Primogen.